I'm Tom Grossi, a New York City comedian and diehard Green Bay Packers fan for almost 20 years. In 2015, I created a podcast where each week I talk to fans from opposing teams to share their story and to get yelled at for about an hour for being a Packers fan. Last year, I met amazing people and went to amazing places. And this year, I'm ready to do it all over again.
Make no mistake about it, I will be remembered as a Packer.
Enjoy the show. Grossi Posse Packer Nation! Welcome to another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't need to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I am your host, Tom Grossi, and we have just won the NFC divisional game against the Dallas Cowboys. Holy mackerel, what a game. One that it should not have been a good game because I thought it was going to be a blowout, but man, I am riding this incredible high of emotion and stomach ulcers and pain and suffering. And it was all worth it because we came out with a win, a last-second field goal, 34-31. Packers clinching it with a Mason Crosby field goal. There's a lot to talk about with this game. Now, if you do want to see the live reaction, I'm going to include a tiny little clip here. He got it! He got it! Yes! 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 Woo! If you want to see the full thing, I'll put the link in the description. Check that out. Also, a bunch of other links that you can potentially find amazing. But that first half, let's talk about it right away. That first half was amazing if you were a Packers fan. The Packers were driving down the field, no problem whatsoever. They held the Cowboys to 3 points in the beginning with their first drive, and they just kept scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And at one point, they were up 21-3, and I thought that this was going to be a blowout. However, the kind of PTSD and my pessimist attitude was like, oh wait, we don't really have a defense. We're not going to hold this lead. Like, I kept thinking, like, no, like, I want to score 49 points because I just don't. Our defense is so beaten up right now. Losing Morgan Burnett in the beginning of the game did not help either. And, man, I was right because we blew that lead incredibly fast. But, I mean, it had an 18-point lead, and the defense, it just, when Dak Prescott turned it on, I mean, Des Bryant had an amazing game. He had some touchdowns. Also had over 100 yards. Jason Witten seemed to always be open as well. And, you know, after the first half, I was feeling okay. You know, it was a closer game. I think it was a 15-point difference. But coming out of the half, I said the one thing that we needed to do is we needed to score right from the beginning. And we did. We marched down the field, scored a touchdown, and it was incredible. And then we didn't do anything else for the rest of the third quarter. We barely did anything the rest of the fourth quarter. And there was really some PTSD kicking in because a lot of this game reminded me of the NFC Championship game with Seattle, in that it seemed towards the end our offense started getting stagnant. There was a second down run in which we just ran the ball, and Montgomery got stood up, lost 5 yards, and this was the one near the end where Crosby kicked the first of 2 field goals that he was going to do. And I was terrified. And Dom Capers, listen, I mean, there was some great defense with Micah Hyde. In that Micah Hyde, he made the pick, and that was great. And unfortunately, that was a big turning point of the game. I thought we were going to put the game away at that point, and we were going to clinch it. We would have taken the fans out of it. We would have taken the team out of it. But Rodgers threw a pick and didn't look amazing in that third quarter, but really picked it up with what happened with the fourth quarter. But I mean, Dom Capers, It's so interesting because I'm watching the game and I'm like, you have to fire this guy. But because that's the emotion he's sending blitz that are obviously not getting to Dak Prescott. They're going one-on-one with Des Bryant. The middle of the field is wide open, the usual stuff. However, the fact that, you don't have Morgan Burnett, you don't have Sam Shields, you also didn't have Rollins in this. Again, is it, do you shift the blame to the injuries or do you put it solely on Capers? I want to know what you think because this has been something that, Packers fans have been talking about for years now, that Capers has been a significant problem. But again, he has gotten us to this point. And while I think that there's no way that we should blow an 18-point lead, this was the number 1 seed. We knew how good their offense was, that their offense matched up very well against our dilapidated defense. And they were going to score, and they did score. And Dak Prescott played a hell of a game. He threw that 1 pick, but he had 3 touchdowns. He was 24-48, 302 yards. He played an amazing game. And Ezekiel Elliott had a great game too. He had over 100 yards. And that team is going to be very, very... This is what they did in their rookie season, that they were the number 1 seed. The Cowboys are going to be very good for a long time. I see that happening. If they're able to keep that offensive line, keep Dak Prescott, which I'm sure there's no reason that they wouldn't. They're going to trade Tony Romo and, keep Ezekiel Elliott. That team is going to be stacked. And so I would not be surprised if the Packers and Cowboys, this is just another chapter in their storied now rivalry. But this game should not, let's be honest, this game should not have been this close, but they were the first round, the first seed. And that fourth quarter, I literally felt the ulcers forming within my stomach. It was a terrible feeling. I was anxious. I had to keep getting, breaths of fresh air, sticking my head out the window. I stuck my head in the fridge at one point because you just saw the lead get chipped away. We weren't doing anything on offense, and I said, oh God, no, here we go again. This is going to end in heartbreak. They aired the montage because from 2013, we have lost on the last play of the game. It happened in 2013 against San Francisco. It happened in 2014 against Seattle. It happened last year against Arizona. And I was like, don't let this happen again, please. Do not let it happen. And that last drive when they tied it, and I was like, man, we don't have a lot of time left. They had like 35 seconds left. And the sack was bad. The sack was really bad. And literally, one of the flashbacks I had was Rodgers' first wild card berth, and he got hit and wound up getting picked off by the Cardinals and losing that game. But he held onto the ball. So, you have to give all the credit in the world to Aaron Rodgers because I don't know how he held onto that ball because he got nailed from his blind side. And it's amazing that he was able to do that. But that last drive, the number one thing I said, please don't go into overtime. Please don't go into overtime. Because I'm like, if we go into overtime, we're going to lose. Because for whatever reason, we never get the ball first. Rodgers never touches the field, and we just lose in overtime. That always happened. It is written. And I said the Cowboys have all the momentum. The crowd would be going nuts, and we would lose the game. And he drove down masterfully, and that Jared Cook catch, I was literally cursing Cook out because he had just dropped that ball where he was a yard away from the first down, but he made this amazing sideline grab, and Crosby goes on, ices the kicker, kicks a beautiful field goal right down the middle, and I was like, of course. So now Crosby, this is the third 50-plus yard field goal he has to try to kick within the past minute and a half, and when he first kicked that ball, it looked like it was hooking left, and I was like, oh, no. Like, I saw our playoff dreams slip away. I saw my happiness slip away. I was like, well, let's bring out the whiskey. This is going to be a long night. And it just wobbled back in, and I went nuts, and I absolutely lost my mind. So, what do we got here? Rodgers played well, 28 for 43, 356, 2 TDs. You also had Ty Montgomery, great day on the ground, 47 yards, 2 TDs. Cook, 6 for 104. Devontae played well. He got injured. Thankfully, he was able to come back. We were able to do this again without Nelson. So, looking ahead, the things, again, that are always a glaring issue is that defense. I'm hoping that because now we have another week that Rollins is going to be able to potentially, he was in concussion protocol. I'm hoping he's able to play now for next week because we are going to need all hands on deck. I'm really, really hoping for Jordy to be able to play. But with 2 fractured ribs, I don't know if that's going to be possible because Atlanta, that game is going to be a shootout. I mean, I don't think there's anyone out there that is going to say, this is going to be a low-scoring defensive game. I do not see that at all. That is going to be a shootout. It was a shootout when we played earlier this year when we lost by a point, and it's an NFC Championship game. Atlanta's going to be rocking. It is going to be one hell of a game, and it's going to be incredibly exciting. And, I mean, I'm just excited to be there because we are one game away. We are one game away from going to the Super Bowl. Think about this. When we were 4-6 and people had us dead in the water, and we have now gone on a tear. We have won 8 straight games. We haven't lost a game in 2 months. It is an incredible feeling, the things that we have had to do and scratch and claw to get to this point. It has been an incredible season, an incredible experience, and damn it, I want to go to the Super Bowl. Personally, I want to go to the Super Bowl. So I am thoroughly looking forward to that. And of course, I can't not mention it. The puppy is now 8-0. So yeah, I posted it on there, went to the front page of Reddit. Everybody's going nuts. The puppy is undefeated. I had like the creep stash. Yeah, I shaved it. I shaved it off. People didn't like it. I shaved it off. Every time I try to grow out facial hair, I look like I drive a big white van. It's absolutely terrible. But yeah, shaved it off. Didn't need it. And listen, I was hand feeding my dog treats every single 5 seconds. So she is now upstairs in a food coma. But man, this is incredible. This is an incredible experience. This is an incredible season, and I'm not ready for it to end. And I think that next Sunday's game is going to be just as amazing. Right upstairs right now, the Steelers game is going on. I'm hoping that the Steelers win because that's going to be 2 amazing championship games. But again, the defense really, you can't blow a lead like this, especially against the Falcons, how dangerous their offense is, because that's something we didn't even talk about. Yeah, they beat the Seahawks, and it wasn't even close. They blew them out, and they were impressive. Their defense held them, and their offense was incredibly impressive. So if we are going to go into Atlanta and knock off the Falcons, we need to bring our A game. But we have the hottest and best quarterback right now in the league. We do. So I think our offense can match up against anybody. The number one weakness we have is our defense, because you give Rodgers any time, he can make miracles happen. So, I mean, what do you think? I'm sure if you're a Packers fan, you're super excited, but I mean, I am. It hasn't died down yet. I'm still jittery. I'm still excited. I'll go to sleep. I'll wake up and I'll be like, all right, now we got to focus on Sunday. Thursday, we'll have our interview with a Falcons fan. We had an amazing one earlier this season. We'll bring on another one, and it's gonna be amazing as both our teams fight to get into the Super Bowl for the NFC. Because also looking at the Patriots game and how that was not a blowout, and that really should have been, but the Texans hung around for a long time. I mean, again, I think the Packers could beat anyone from the AFC right now too. And I mean, I think if it's a Patriots, I've been wanting a Patriots-Packers Super Bowl for a long time. But either if it's a Super Bowl 45 rematch against the Steelers or the Patriots, bring it on. Let's do it, please. But yeah, we'll have that on Thursday. You can check that out on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Music. Again, it's Packcast, Packast. You can always find me at Tom Grossi Comedy, TomGrossi Comedy at TomGrossiComedy.com or at Tom Grossi Comedy on Twitter. Like us, follow us. Let me know what you think. I'm excited. I think I'm going to have a celebratory drink. I'm going to go do that. So thank you so much for watching. Check out the reaction in the description. Man, this feels good. This feels good. I'm Tom Grossi, and as always, go Pack Go.